place something like America, like it puts on this big facade, like the place is good and it looks nice and everybody lives decent and but it really shows like once you get into you know diagnosing what you got yourself into, right? And the closer you get to it, you can see how it's kind of dark and beat up, and you're like, damn, I didn't know it was like that. You know, when you look from a distance, from a way they put it at you, you think of it as one way, and then once you begin to say, I want to be a part of that, I want to see that, I want to see how that works, and then as you get closer to it, you begin to say, ugh, what is going on around here? You know what I mean? And then you begin to really look at what's going on. Can you see inside of there? Yeah. The top of the place is falling apart. The bottom of the place is falling apart. Never even said anything. Like this place done burnt all the way down. And like that place up there is the only place that somebody stays up top. Like damn, this building rightfully can't even hold itself. It's barely holding itself, dude. It's about to damn fall in, fall apart. Rightfully it doesn't fell in and fell apart. But it's real sad, man. You think, they say come here and enjoy life and this the land of the free, home of the brave. But they bring us here and they make us into their little puppy dogs. They turn us into something that we didn't think we wanted to be, greedy, um, like really not caring, you know, like America the beautiful. But actually, you just you're struggling all the time.
It's either no hope or rise above.
Matthew 10. Come on. You ready, Mark? He told the disciples, he said, go to. He said, those that hear you, those are the ones I call to you. And you go to them in peace. And they don't hear you. What it say? They don't hear you. And they don't receive you. What it say? Let your virtue return back. Oh! My church. That's my church. I thank God for another day.
So many things have happened since the 60s. There's been a reorganization of political realm. There's been a reorganization in the social realm. There's been a reorganization in the financial or the realm of employment. So right now we're in a situation where there's several groups of people who are unemployed and in many cases unemployable for various reasons. And I won't go pointing fingers because those people who are responsible for those things already know who they are and know that they could do better at creating employment and making this country a more productive country and producing things for the world. Those are at the very heart of all of our problems. There is a myth that people in these communities are lazy and don't want to work, or shiftless and don't desire to work. That's not true. There are many people here, the majority of the people in this community, this is the community that I was raised up in, I came out of, so I know these people, and but for the sake of employment. We have very intelligent people here in these communities who are employable, who are in desperate need of the upward mobility through employment. And that's where we are right now. And that is at the heart of everything that's transpiring in our community is people don't have no work. And they don't have a vision of a future because they can't provide for themselves. There's no feeling worse than not being able to provide for yourself.
There is really no strong base of career for those who are living in disenfranchised communities. So now they normally resort to working at McDonald's or Burger King, and I'm happy that McDonald's has raised a lot of their standards as far as benefits along with employees. But once again, they're still starting off on those minimum bases of pay. So being disenfranchised is not just economically. It challenges you mentally, and then also it stunts your growth cognitive, your cognitive growth. And you end up becoming left behind and not being able to actually advance towards something that you've always desired to do. So we focus on more on putting people in places where they can succeed. And sometimes that means starting in their mind, and dismantling that disenfranchisement state of mind. And then we go from there and we work that process.
This is what they call the bottom in that trench right there. Like whenever it rains, whenever it floods, like it looks like we'll be the first ones to be saved, but rightfully we'll be the first ones to drown. You know what I mean? Like they put the black people in this area, or the minority in this area, not just the black people maybe. Mm-hmm. And there are a lot of white folks that live here that just don't have money, and they stuck. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, as you move around, you'll see that there's almost more abandoned houses and empty houses than there are occupied houses.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have one or two businesses that run that are successful, but like the businesses that make the most money in this area are not black folks nor the minority. But this is the area, that we live in. These are the places that we should own. Like when you go out to the white folks area, or the white folks out there, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. White folks own the big businesses, they work with each other, they commute with each other, but it's like, where are the black owners in our community, mm-hmm. or something like that. It's really tough. And you start moving down, like it's pretty quiet up on this high side, but once you get down into the dark, like we're beginning to move down into the more really poverty side, Mm-hmm. And it's kind of crazy, it's kind of nervous to be down here with this camera, to be honest with you. But we're going to take it, move on.
It's early.
It's early. That's what's going to.
I mean, it's definitely progressing, so I see it getting there one day, but I feel like it shouldn't have taken this long. I don't think it should have taken into 2008 to have a black president. Like, that was entirely too long. And even at this point, like I said, this is a majority white neighborhood that my parents live in, and we're like, most of the neighbors are fine, and they speak, they're cordial, but there's a lot who are still racist. They don't speak. We're the only black people that live on this street. Well, I don't think any other black people live like a couple of streets over, but you have some, they'll ride by, they won't speak, they'll see you outside, because we all kind of jog the neighborhood. So you could tell there's some people who there's definitely still a problem, and I'm like, dude, it's 2014, like, get over it, and that's just how I feel. But there's definitely still some people who can't seem to get in their mind that everyone is equal.
People are still so uncomfortable with the conversation of race. And we can't be. We have to be honest with each other, and we have to be have honest, open relationships about race. And I still think, do you not agree that we don't have that? I think that you feel that you still have to be politically correct. And honestly, some of my best friends in the world, I would not discuss Obama's win. Yeah. Certain things we just don't talk about, And so I'm saddened by that I still feel that we don't have open conversations about race and its impact on us as a society.
My story is about the 50th anniversary of the signing of the Civil Rights Act. I'm looking at the cultural impact, what's changed, what has not changed, and what's yet to be done.
One of the biggest things that I say is that if we look at the Emancipation Proclamation, if we look at the Civil Rights Movement, it was to create equality and fairness for all. One of the things that we didn't look at, that we failed on, is when they implemented 1971, Nixon came out with the drug war, and the 13th Amendment said no man can be held under involuntary servitude or slavery except or by for felony conviction. So we still had a clause in there to get people felonies, to get them discarded as citizens all over again. And that's what we're facing.
All right, Reverend Glasgow, thanks so much.
One thing I want to say.
Yeah.
So while they were fighting affirmative action, we was looking for affirmative action. Now we got a black man in the highest office that we could ever have. But we got more people incarcerated, young black men, than it was in slavery.
Yeah.
So while we yet came to a discrimination release or freedom from discrimination, we came to an all-time high of disparity.
That's definitely a tension there. All right, Broken Glasgow, thanks so much. That'll be exactly what we need for that story. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I hope that we will not be going backwards as we are in the 50th anniversary of the Voting Rights Act and the Civil Rights Act. Looking at discrimination in 2014 that should not even exist. I hope that we will have a better future for our children than we have now, to where we're going back to fight fights that already have been won.
And then, like, they feel like taking the city back means getting rid of our for real. That's what it makes me feel like, you know? Like they say try to, if somebody's doing something wrong, you shouldn't come in and just take their life away from them. Lock them up, throw away the key, you know, like that. You should repair them. Just like everything else, you have to train it to become what it is, you know, so you can take someone like me, like I done been locked up, I done been going through, I done been through the prison system, the jail system, you know, but I choose not to do that. I choose not to do that. And even though, like, my finances are bad, I choose not to go out and sell drugs or harm anybody in order to make a way. You know, I choose just to wait on the Lord Jesus Christ, or try to use my talent, you know, like working on cars, washing cars, doing a roof, or whatever I possibly can do next to doing something harmful to somebody around me, you know. And then at that, but it makes it hard is that because I've been through all that stuff, that I have to suffer because don't nobody want to hire, you know. It's like somebody was like talking to me the other day about a job, and she was like, yeah, I can get you a job right now. She was like, do you have a felony? Yeah. She was like, a little drug felony? I was like, yeah. And she was like, oh, well, you know, I don't know, I can't. You know, I work at a bank. I clean up banks at nighttime, so I don't know if you can, you know, they're not going to let you even come in that bank. Yeah. Which is crazy, you know. Like, I go to jail, I do my time, I pay my fine. I got kids just like everybody else do. There are other felons out there that just because of something, like you can have money laundering, but nobody with the money laundering. You know, he go to prison, it's a felony, it's wrong, but he gets less time than the dude that's out here selling drugs, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But he done stole millions of dollars from a company. When you got somebody who sells drugs, like they sell $200 worth of drugs and they go to prison for 20-something years. I mean, where's the fairness in that?
A person that has a felony is marked. They're marked when it comes to employment. They're marked when it comes to housing. They're marked when it comes to numerous things. Most of the applications for anything, loans and all, that you look at now ask, are you a convicted felon? Have you been convicted of a felon? Have you been arrested? The collateral consequences are superseding the sentences. And our justice system is beginning to look bleak when it comes to justice at all.
We know for a fact that when a child is in the 3rd grade, and if that child is failing, that child's grades and disposition is the basis of a formula that determines how many jail cells will be needed at the end of that child's high school education. The children are in school systems that are not teaching them. Some kids are graduating, they can't read or write, you know? They can't read or write. They spend 12 years in school. It's still happening, and that's sad. What is a guy going to do that can't read and write in this country now, in this technological age? So we need to work a little harder and be a little bit more serious about serving each other.
We saw basketball highlights too.
We out here. Help out, help out. Damn, wait for him to get all the way to the hole, man.
I've been watching a lot of these kids, you know, and fundamentals ain't what it should be. And I feel like I can teach a lot as far as fundamentals and life skills and teach them discipline and respect. You know, it's a lot of things I feel like I can teach them. Because I done been in this situation. You know, I ain't really have that, nobody who was there for me to tell me, hey, don't do this and don't hang with this crowd or this will happen. I want them to have hope, you know, and faith that they can be something, you know. Like, be confident that they're gonna be something someday and they're gonna have, their dreams will come true, you know. Because, see, most of these kids they don't even dream. They act like they don't even have a dream, you know. It's like, I wanna get some fire up on them or something, I don't know.
I am very concerned about these children. We got beautiful kids in the neighborhood. These kids can grow up. When I talk to them about what they want to be, but they don't feel they can be because of being raised in a poverty-stricken area, and most of all, is nobody's interested in what they are interested in. Nobody is taking the time to talk to them, and they have a voice, and nobody's listening.
When we do our town hall meetings and our community meetings, we sometimes have the youth have their meetings, and they'll usually use this area in order to have their meetings so the youth is heard. You know, what do they want better for their future? I mean, it shouldn't be a decision that all of us make who are older, who help mess it up, be the ones that help contribute to their future and messing it up even further. So we need to know what they want, what they need. We'll go out this door right here.
They missing a lot of love in their life, and they know real love. Real love is when you do care, that address the issue with them and help them.
It's hard, and I definitely know that with this day and age, kids have so much more to face than kind of what we went through, So I think it's definitely important to just, like I said, show them how important education is and how they need it.
If you give children the same teacher, the same school, the same books, the same equipment, that they will learn equally. Well, the fallacy in that is that a hungry child can't learn. I don't care what school they're in. A child whose crack addicted mother is their only guardian is not going to learn the same way another child will. You can't just look at that child that you see. You have to see beyond that child and what he's coming from. So, but these children were just so smart. I mean, street smart, like smart. And I just kept thinking, if we could marry that with a formal education, I mean, you would be amazed at some of the things that they know and they say and that they've had to learn because of their environments.
I try to let them tell them to keep the confidence and have faith, you know, and pray to God. And you keep God first, you can do anything you want to do, you know what I'm saying? Whatever it is they have in their heart they want to do, if it's a school teacher or whatever, just put your heart in it and you can do it. So I try to teach them, you know. And it ain't always just about being a pro basketball player. I'm just, whatever your dream and goal is, it can happen.
In the old days, territorial lines, whether it was this community, we had to break that down. Mm-hmm. And then, there's always race lines, and then there's economic lines. And what we hopefully have done is we had an economic summit where we invited the whole community. I don't care who you were. I wanted to hear your voice tell us how we can create more jobs. From hopefully every aspect, we are working better together.
Somebody asked me the other day, how did I know to become a judge, because I never saw one, and so that was a very poignant question for me. She asked, because how do you become something you've never seen? People think that they can't attain things because it requires perfection. And I've just always kind of highlighted my imperfections to say that, no excuses. No daddy, no excuse. Living in a project, no excuse. Gap teeth, no excuse. Fat, no excuse. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So for me, it's just been about letting people see that it's attainable, achievable, and that it's doable. But I'm not being dramatic when I say it has not come without a cost to me. You just get tired of always having to prove and validate yourself.
Especially in this type of area where income is basically $7.50, I believe, is the minimum wage. We all know most people that have either gotten their high school diploma or went to college for sometimes 3 to 4 years are still getting paid $7.50. It is a struggle. And even though the concept that Alabama is low in housing rental, you can get a house for $400, but that does not mean that you can cover your rent, your utilities, and the cost of feeding off of $7.50 at 20 hours a week, maximum 37 hours a week. So that's the needs that we're facing, that we have to address every day.
40,000 people go to bed hungry in the Wiregrass every night. Some people would not make it if it wasn't for us being here. So this is not something that you can take lightly. Do you realize that the people who used to be the givers are now the working poor? The working poor makes up the largest group of needy people. These are the ones who used to bring the food and used to be buying extra groceries. Now the parents are deciding, do I give that child that money for their lunch or do I eat lunch? Guess what? That child eats lunch. That parent might get kind of grouchy at that job because they're hungry. Let's be serious about it. How much gas do I put in my car? Or do I get all my medicine? Or do I get half of it and take it every other day? And hopefully I survive. Because I need that gas to get to my job for the next week. So this economic situation that has happened to us, and inflation, how things have gotten so expensive, it has caused the people who used to give to be the ones that's in need.
There's nothing wrong with corporations. I personally don't see anything wrong with corporations being profitable. That's the whole purpose of being a corporation. But I really seriously think they ought to pray about solutions. And that's what we want to be. We want to be a part of the solution. We want to help with solutions. And we want to be an asset as opposed to an adversary to the system. We want to be an asset to the system. We want to come up with productive, constructive ways of moving this country forward and making us the most powerful nation in the world, not by might, but by greatness and goodness.
If our community is going to succeed, everybody needs to be part of it. And if we're going to do that, we all need to help. And we got a lot of issues, like most cities. We got things we need to improve. But we are working very well together to overcome a lot of that.
Locally, I see a lot of changes for us. He is trying to pull everybody together, different segments of society. He has been very inclusive of minorities, of women, of very supportive of anything, and that gives me hope.
If I had a word to put out there, you receive your blessing by being a blessing. God will provide. Okay, and I know we say that literally. I know the preachers say that literally. But unless you give them experiences of showing where God will provide, it's just like, oh, well, yeah, everybody say that. And it's Jesus, preaching in Jesus. Okay, they already know that. They don't want to hear that. Mm-hmm. Talk to me in my lingo where I'm at. Yeah. Help me get there.
So every day we get up and we fight to live another day. We keep ourselves up. We try the best that we can. And at the end of the day, you still have to sit down at your bed and lower your head and say, I just really don't know how to make it work. Like, I know how to get up and go to a job and make it work, but I don't know how to own my own business. Right? And then you can't try to invest in a business off a minimum wage salary. Mm-hmm. I think development comes from righteously you actually putting something together and showing people how it works. And then after they see how it works, they begin to adapt to it and to make it work better.
As we go into the middle of it, let's say right here and stop, you can see where we start off with the restaurant, goes into the fellowship hall, and this first building right here, and the second building, you see where we got the kids, the boxing thing and all for the children. You see where we got chairs and all out here for the clothes and all. We're going to the game room. That first building right there is where we give away furniture and all. And then we go down through there where the offices are. We started off about 8 years ago trying to develop and get different things in the restaurant. As you can come back here, you can see the commercial hood and commercial stoves and all that we have here for the restaurant, for people that's coming out of prison and jail. We use this as a self-sufficiency. People can come and cater. They can cater the food and all that. So it'll be a place to give jobs, because you know ex-felons and people that with felon convictions have problems getting jobs. The fellowship hall. We have Sunday service here every Sunday morning, 11:30. We have banquets here. We put out the round tables. We have homecomings here. We have what is called graduations for people that graduate their GED, people that graduate from TOPS Restoration House programs, people that graduate some of the programs, anger management and all that. So we have different graduations. This is number 7. This is where we have counseling sessions. It's an office space. We'll have a calling center here and all that for people in order to learn how to call different places, how to solicit, teaching people the language and lingo of business and phone articulation, phone etiquette, I'm sorry. This is one of our pride and joys that we just got painted and got in existence that's going to be available for them. And if you turn around and look to the wall, you'll see that we got the children themselves to put their handprints on the wall as their signature and their ownership of this game room that belongs to the projects right here behind us. This right here you see is the studio over there. That's the press over there we're putting together. We do everything here, the GED, life skills, job skills. We do NAAA every day. We do what's called relationship classes. This is the reception area where we do the intake and all. We do an assessment form on each and every person that comes in. What are your needs? Life skills, job skills, budgeting, GED, education, parenting, early childhood development, crisis intervention, whether it's domestic, drugs or alcohol, healthcare, AANA. And then we also ask them, how can we help you? What can TOPS do for you? These assessment forms are very, very vital to us because it tells us, then we set up programs for each individual on an individual basis. And it also is very good because we ask them, are you registered? Can you register? Do you need to get your rights back? And so it's very, very vital to us, very important. Here is our brainchild. This is where we try to get people their jobs. This is where we usually try to get the nucleus of people to learn computers. One of the biggest things you have to realize in a poverty-stricken neighborhood, 72% of the people in this area don't have computers in their home. Most people are trying to use their phone, burning up their minutes and stuff like that. Most of the older generation, we have 52%, almost 53% illiteracy still in this area. 53%. A lot of them still signing their checks with X's and all. So what we did a Sir Read-A-Lot program back in 2005, and we found out it was 51%, then it has increased. What has happened is that there's not a push in education like it used to be.
I just don't know what the solution is. I think if history has not taught us how powerful we would be together, then I don't know what it is. So that's what kind of scares me, is that you really don't want to bring it up because then you're always accused of playing a race card when really, maybe you just want to have an open conversation about this would not have happened had I not been black.
So everybody struggles. I know everybody struggles. But when does the struggle end? Why do they tell us to look at all these other countries and look at the poverty and the hatred and the killing that's going on over here, and it happens here, just happens quietly, and it happens right in next door to you, but you don't know that the man next door is beating the shit out of his wife, I mean, they put on this picture that it's all okay, but it's not okay. It's not okay.